it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video where we're going to be creating a not a card project using new products from Pretty Pink Posh's Christmas collection and also some stamps and dies from Simon Says Stamp. In today's video, I'm going to be using this new snowflake layering stencil set from Pretty Pink Posh and these really cool pine trees. Now I'm going to use the largest of the pine trees for my cards today, and we're going to use all 3 layers of the stencils. The place cards that I'm making them out of mini slimline card bases from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm just chopping off a 1/2 inch of each one. So the size of these cards are roughly about 5 1/4 and 3 1/2 inches when they're folded. I'm using my Holtz trimmer to trim those down, and then I'm going to bring in some Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively saturated inks in TIDEPOOL to start adding some color to the background of my place cards. I'm going to do this in assembly line style, so I'm actually doing all the ink blending at once, I'm doing all the stenciling at once, and so on and so forth. This will make the process of creating multiples for your place settings on the holidays a lot faster. So we're going to take the stencil set, and one of the layers I ink blended with the TIDEPOOL ink, so I got this really pretty tone-on-tone color palette. Next, I'm going to remove that stencil and put the next layer on top. This one I'm going to use a slightly darker shade of ink. This one is going to be Ocean. Now these actually are not colors that are part of the trio, but I liked the pairing of them together, so that's why I picked TIDEPOOL and Ocean as my colors. So now I have that ocean effect for those darker, smaller snowflakes, and we're going to use that final layer and some SNOWFALL paste from Holtz to add that through our final layer. This will dry slightly transparent, but it will pick up some of the color of the ink blending that we did on the background, so these will have a tint of blue to them. We'll let these dry, and I did all of them in assembly line style. So I did all of the stenciling at once so that they could all dry at the same time. Meanwhile, I moved on to die cutting. I die cut the pine tree, the largest one, from Simon Says Stamp glitter paper, and I used a couple of different green shades. Then I used some thin 3D foam squares and put them on the back side of the tree and lined it up on the left-hand side, and a little bit overlaps the bottom. I'm going to trim that down so it's completely flush with the place cards, and that way it'll stand perfectly. So now we have these really pretty trees on the left-hand side that we want to decorate with some of the new embellishments that are in the Pretty Pink Posh release. These are beautiful green half pearls. I love the color and how they have a slight holographic appearance to them. They look really pretty on top of this glittery tree, and it adds that nice finishing holiday touch to it. For a greeting on these place cards, I wanted a simple Merry Christmas. I picked out this sentiment set from Simon Says Stamp called Christmas Blessings. These are beautiful script sentiments that are going to look really pretty on top of my place cards. I'm stamping them with embossing ink onto Schoolhouse Red cardstock, and then I'll use some white embossing powder to sprinkle on top. As with everything else, I'm doing this assembly line style, so I'm going to stamp all of the sentiments and put the powder on them all at once. Then I use my heat tool and set the powder for every single one of them. I always like to heat the back side of my paper before moving on to the front because it helps me not burn the embossing powder and gives me a much finer embossed result. I really like how this looks, and it also helps with the paper warping. You're not going to have as much warping when you add a little bit of heat to the back. It balances out the heat that you're going to add to the front, and the paper stays a lot flatter. Using the coordinating dies, I'm going to cut each one of these sentiments out so that I have a really cute greeting that I can pop up on top of my place cards. These coordinating dies make creating this so simple, but if you don't have the coordinating dies, you could totally cut this down into a simple rectangle and pop that onto the right-hand side of the card, which is where I'm placing this greeting. I've also die cut a banner from one of Simon Says Stamp's nested banner dies. I have it linked below in the video description, along with all the other supplies, including the new Pretty Pink Posh Christmas release, down there in the video description or over on the blog. So definitely check that out if you're interested in those supplies. Like I said, the sentiment's going to get popped up off the tree, and then these little banners are going to be the name tags. So on each one of these, which I die cut from sea glass cardstock, this is where you'll write the names of anybody that's going to be at your Christmas table. So I'm going to fill these out with a simple black pen. You can use a colored pen, you could use a Sharpie, whatever you have. And then I'm just going to use some thin 3D foam squares to go ahead and put that underneath the word Merry Christmas. So these are going to look super cute. If you're not sure yet how many people or who exactly is going to be at your table, you could save putting the little banners on till the very last minute and then just quickly fill them out and pop them onto your card. By working in assembly line style, you're going to be very efficient in putting these together. You're not going to have to spend a ton of time making all of them. So it's going to be a quick and easy project that you can do with your family and friends and make it a really fun craft project. So as you can see, these look absolutely beautiful. You can mix and match the colors. You don't have to make them all exactly the same, but I really like the cohesive look. And this is going to look absolutely beautiful on top of the table this Christmas. I hope you were inspired by these projects using the new Pretty Pink Posh collection, the new holiday release. I love it. It's so festive. There's a lot more to see from it, so definitely check out all the links that I have for you down below in the video description as well as over on the blog. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I will see you again soon with more to share.
I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.